Okay, we are waiting for confirmation of working things. We're starting. I want to know if we've got audio this time around. You're seeing what I see. We're live, but we're offline. Do we have audio? Audio.
You're seeing what I see.
We've got audio. Good.
Well,
Good. That is a step up from last time. I do hope everything else is right, that the YouTube title is right, that my settings haven't been deleted because I updated OBS Studio, and that we're gonna have a good time. So, with that minute wasted, this is what we're dealing with today. There's some cheapo IT trash picks which no one in their right mind would bother with. So we've got a TP-Link 5-port gigabit switch, which I hooked up briefly, and it seems to light up. It's in rather awful nick. You can see how it's all dirty and scratched up, so this thing's led a rough life. The power supply is squealing, so I'm thinking they've just someone's plugged this in, let it run for a few years, and now it's gone unstable on them and they've thrown it away. And we've got the chat coming on. You're online. Did the stream just begin? Yes, it did. Just got the email. Hi, have a good time. Okay, I'm ready. Well, this looks good for once we have a working stream. Moving on. This is a Targus branded, i.e. cheap Chinese imports, USB 3 hub with the dumbest 4-pin power connector in the world. I tried hooking this up to a PC without a power plug because I don't have one, and it just does nothing. So I would be curious to see if this thing's failed in some way, or if it actually just requires the power plug in order to work at all. So we're going to find that out. Perhaps we'll start with that since it's actually dead. I'm thinking with the switch, we're just going to tear it apart and replace the caps and the power supply, regardless of whatever other issues it might actually have, because I think it needs that, and it runs off of a kind of weird 9-volt supply. Whereas the switch might be a tad more interesting, since it even needs to be modified to run off of the 5 volts coming from the plug if it doesn't support that out of the box, or it just has failed somehow. Rector Magnificus asks, what camera are you using now? And I can show you. You are viewing through the Panasonic HDVX 980, and that's because it's the best camera I have with a clean HDMI output, and also the only camera I have which has that external audio input and the ability to sit on my weird tripod-y thing without falling over. If I were to try and mount the 800D DSLR on this mount, it would just come sagging down like so, and you would not see anything at all because it's way too heavy. This is not a very... oh god. I've ruined everything. My world is collapsing in upon me. This camera is way, way, way too heavy already for my dodgy Lidl mount. So what do we have? This does not look to be liquid damaged, at least. And I want to step up your exposure slightly, I think. There we go. That's a bit better. This looks pretty clean. VLI branded controller. Bunch of electrolytic caps. The electrolytic caps seem to spread out from the DC power plug. So perhaps this thing just requires external 5 volt in order to run. I can't believe they put that dumb connector on a USB hub. That is retarded. You usually see that connector on small TVs running from external plug packs, like 19, 20-inch cheaper LED TVs. On the underside, now it looks surprisingly many components in this thing. It could be ancient though, so it just could be having many components. Oh yeah, 1138, so this is 7 years old by now. Rather the antique, no wonder it might have failed, because this is going to have one of the like super early USB 3 plug things. But I figured if we just hook this up to the PC with the USB connector, it should give us voltage across all the USB capacitors. If it's going to work out of the box. Else I'm just going to install a solder bridge basically from the power plug to the capacitors, and we'll go from there. Where on earth is my multimeter? My multimeter is hidden behind a wall of clutter. Give me a moment. I'm doing the big cloud thing of using a very, very shallow angle in order to hide the complete clutter and destruction of this bench. This place is a mess. But we might be moving shops quite soon, so I'm looking quite forward to that. Someone says, I've got one of those connectors on an ancient laptop. I'm not surprised. So these are going to be capacitors. Do we have voltage? Nope. I'm going to wager these are just going to beep straight to a power plug and nowhere else, making this this USB hub absolutely stupid. I don't know which is positive, which is negative. Yeah. Which is actually ground. That's ground, that's positive. So we'll measure from there to all the pins on the USB plug. And we've got nothing at all. So I have no interest in a USB hub which requires this retarded power adapter in order to run. Oh, 15 fake account did a €2 super chat saying install Gen 2. I actually run a couple of Linux things, although I don't run Gen 2. Thank you for doing that, because I was actually curious if the super chat thing was broken or if no one likes me enough. So that's very positive. Thank you, 15 fake accounts. Very kind. Saki Bugger says hello. Says evening all. Hello, Saki Bugger. You have been stalking this channel since time immemorial. I keep imagining the standard crowd on this video as being basically a large gathering of creepy old men. I'm not sure where I get that idea from. And this board is way too heavy to be properly soldered with this gun, and I want to remove the connector, so we're just gonna take the hot air and destroy it, because I obviously don't want to have the connector in parallel with... Well, actually, who gives a toss if this weird connector is in parallel with the USB input, because no one's ever going to try and connect anything up to that. So I'm going to have to look up the pinout for USB 3. Actually, maybe we don't need to. I just want to grab 5 volts from there and jumper it to there. Oh yeah, actually I want to remove that plug, because else, if I don't remove this plug, I'll probably have to route a wire around the edge of the board, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather just jumper it straight across there, so I'm just going to hot air that connector off is doing us no good anyway. ZX8401 says, a gathering of creepy old men, how dare you? Okay, I'm old, lol. Well, there you go. I'm right. But someone else says, I'm an edgy teen who works as a service engineer. Well, there you go. I'm not sure I've actually got like demographics on the age group of my channel. Well, I'll probably do. I should probably look it up what the median age of a viewer of this channel is. What kind of crowd I'm attracting, because I honestly don't know. And I'm gonna grab a vise to put this in. And I'm not gonna put that there because it's gonna burn a hole in my desk. Lidl vise to the rescue. If you have a Lidl nearby, these vises are awesome. They cost, they are 30 euros. They're pretty hard metal. And they are absolutely excellent build quality. Like these, I've seen vises on sale for over 100 euros, which are of inferior quality to these. I just bought 2 of these at a whim and just have them sitting around loosely. I do not regret that purchase decision at all. I probably want to put some fresh solder on those. Maybe I don't even need the hot air for this. Can we just walk this off? Let's see. Oh yeah, this is going off fine. No need for hot air. That went well. That went quite well indeed. What's what chat got to say? I'm not doing the thing where I read all the chat messages because I'm too lazy. For a hot air rework station, what would you recommend? One with a diaphragm pump or with a pipe, or one with a fan of a handle? I don't think you get hot air stations with diaphragm pumps. That would not produce enough flow. I'm thinking of I think you're comparing desoldering pumps like this to hot air stations, and they are not the same at all, obviously. I don't know much about hot air stations though. I just have a cheap one. Works decently, but it's a bit weak. FF, you are an adult and very clever. That's a lie. Why would we not like watching you? Why would... I'm not sure what exactly you're hinting at with that. I would not like watching myself. I'm not interested in what I do at all. I just do this for money. Because I'm a horrible capitalist pig. So... which pin is positive? We need to beep this out. So we've got nothing at the end, is probably nothing. Let's do that too. That's not positive. What are you? Not positive. What are you? That's positive. And that's those guys. They are in parallel. So I want to bridge those to positive on the USB input connector. Where's my cheapo magnifying glass? Chaos among the mains. And you're getting horribly overexposed now. I'm sorry. So, we've actually got, hang on, perhaps I was too hasty in desoldering that, because we've actually got a 0-ohm jumper there on the USB supply. Perhaps that's blown. And nope, hasn't blown. So yeah, we want to bridge our supply to over there. Let's just do that, and I think this thing is going to work just fine. Let's see. Just grabbing some wire. Snip. What's the chat got to say? Is it a forged or cast vise? I have no idea. It was a vise which cost €30. Station 240 says anything is better than Dave prattling on about his scope/multimeter/calculator collection. I mean, I kind of have to agree. I miss the older, usually more practically inclined EEV blog. Those were the golden days. So we've got our 0-ohm jumper that I think I'm just going to basically bypass that and solder straight onto the USB connector. Oh god, I'm ruining everything. This camera is not good up close, but we'll give it a try. There we go. That's decent. That is decent. I'm going to have to get a smaller tip on that way, because 10mm is way too large to be soldering USB-free connectors. Cue soldering station beeping. This is the ball tip you get in the box with the OU2900 series irons. I actually love this tip because they're usually they're sharpened like a pencil, so they are very small, very easy to get at tiny spots without requiring like a microscope in order to ensure your precision. We will also grab some smaller solder. The lazy fish keeper says, a capitalist. That was really lame, but worth a raised eyebrow. What do you mean by that? I think most people in the Western world are reasonably capitalist. Oh, hang on, I can turn off a light on the camera. That's going to make everything a bit better. That's useful. Soldering light on the camera. Oh, and you even get the video light on. Oh wow. This is not a proper broadcast camera, as you might be able to tell. So we'll just go on that side of a 0-ohm jumper link. Blobbity. We'll grab a fat solder and put our wire in there and cut it something like that. Snip. Oof. Someone says unpopulated at U10, surge protection. U10 seems to be going to a data light. I've got no idea what that would be. That's odd. Perhaps it's some kind of circuit they just designed away. Tweezers. Let's tin the end of our jumper wire. And promptly rip it out of a hole. There we go. And tack that onto our 0 ohm jumper. Come on, on you go. Need a bit more solder. Can't be bothered adding extra flux, so I'll just dab on a shit ton of solder and it'll be fine. Oh, come on. There we go. That's good enough. It's on there. Dabbity. There we go. ZX8401 says, as long as you're decent with your real friends, real friendship is hard to find. Why would you say that? I can't see a context for that in chat. I think capitalists are bad with friends. I would disagree. But again, when I say capitalist in the eyes of someone living in the Nordic countries. So I'm probably a capitalist socialist. But then again, you should not label yourself. As for solder joints on these USB connectors, are they in serviceable shape? Or do we need to fix those? It's very common for these USB connectors to just basically fall off. Yeah, they're not really soldered properly. Let's just add a dab of solder to those while we're at it. Give this thing a better chance of survival. Come on. Take some tin, you tip. Oh. I have a soldering iron set to like 280C. No wonder it's not working very well. There we go, that's better. Get some solder on there. There we go. I am very much looking forward to hopefully moving the workshop to a much nicer location rather soon, later this year, if everything works out. Then I would actually be able to monitor my video while streaming without having to turn my head like 110 degrees, because I'm looking that direction, whereas my monitoring monitor is roughly in that direction, because this room is tiny. But I think this should now work, unless I manage to overfill this with solder, which I didn't. So let's take the big metal vise out of the way, so we don't explode this thing after putting all that effort into it. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we'll get a ding out of my laptop. Let's see. Installing device driver software. Your device is ready to use. generic USB hub. Let's see if we can shove a random device into that and have it work. Yeah, we've got a generic USB input device out of that. Does the USB 3 side work? I don't have USB 3 in this PC, but it does seem to work. That port's working. And that port's working. And I don't really care about the USB 2 side, I'm sure they all work quite fine. It's probably got, yeah, like it's managed by a single IC, all the USB 2 ports, you can see there. The track's going away, so I think this thing is going to be good to go now. Not going to be able to supply a huge amount of current anymore, but I don't care. At least you don't need to have a huge retarded power brick in order to run it. ZX8401 says, everyone needs money, but I never put money before people. Well, that is a sound enough approach, I suppose. But there are many times where you do need to consider money. And unless you live in a socialist utopia, which admittedly I more or less do, you really need to keep money in mind, and you need to manage it, and you need to make sure you get as much as possible. Because life is so much easier if you do. I mean, I'm not one to speak because I'm horrible at acquiring money. I'm not making bank. But I do like the free market. But then again, I also do watch way too much Louis Rossmann, which might be influencing my malleable young mind. Wipe some of the flux off of that. Flux in USB ports is a bitch. It tends to just kind of clog up and ruin everything. I'll just extract it with my only nice long USB 3 lead. Now we'll give the case a wipe, if we can fit it in frame. And this is going to be a useful device. Cyaneg MKD says how to test those crystals. It's not easy to test a crystal. You can't just probe it with a scope, because it's going to stop oscillating. I think it's probably easier to just see if the circuit is running. Crystals rarely do fail though. But if you drop one, well, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, in my few years of technical troubleshooting, I have very, very rarely had a crystal fail. So rarely that I haven't developed any good protocols for dealing with that. Because, yeah, the few times I've had issues with crystals, it's usually been bad capacitors, or they've used like ceramic caps and they've just shorted out, and we just have a short close to it. ZX says, I like Rossmann too, he has returned back to proper repairs now, less daft streams. I like his daft streams, I like his opinions, because he has a very objective view of reality generally. He values evidence, and even though I don't agree with everything he says, I am far more left than he is, for instance politically, I appreciate having someone who tries to view the world in an objective manner. I think that is a very positive trait in anyone, and I strive to be the same way. And as long as you're human, not everyone is going to be able to look at the same evidence and arrive at the same conclusion. And I've just, I now realise I've put this thing way out of the USB standard because I've connected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 microfarads of capacitance right across the USB power line. And I don't think a USB device is allowed to have more than 10. Whoops. Oh well. I'm sure it'll be fine. If this doesn't work, I'll just change something in the future, but I think it'll be fine. I think it will be fine. No one follows the USB standard anyway. That probably is why they wanted to have 40 to use an external power supply, because it allows them to have a big capacitor there, which makes the whole thing a bit more stable. Everyone loves capacitance. So we'll just put that together and see if it works in the long term. If it doesn't, well, perhaps it'll be featured in a future stream. Targus is a cheapo trash brand, but some of their products actually are really good. I like the fact that this USB hub is physically large, square, and put together with screws. The layout of this makes perfect sense, even though it's cheap Chinese import. It's good. Many brand name things try so hard to be special and stand out that they ruin the product in the process. Where's the last foot? I have lost a foot. Our last foot is nowhere to be found. Oh well, I don't care. Let's read this power supply part. So this is the kind which does not come apart at all. It has no screw, they never do. Ooh. Tesang says it's no worse than those Chinese 80-import USB hubs with no external power. Well, that's true, but they don't align to the standard either. Crack. Ugh. And crack. And Psychic Bugger says the vice of knowledge. The vice of knowledge indeed. Although my vice of knowledge is bigger. Crack. Crack. That's this coming apart. Nope. We'll crack it some more. That was a proper crack. And a couple more times on the long side. Osgray says, hey there, my fellow tech heads. Hello there, Osgray. Is that like Australia Grey, or is it like the name? Ooh! Ah, there we go. What on earth was that? Something must have fallen over. And this should be going crack. Let's hammer. Someone says do it diagonally. We'll try. That could work. Give it some different strain. Difficult to get a grip on it though. Gosh. That's just crushing it. Do the other way around. Yeah, we're just crushing it diagonally. Wicked Engineer says, cheers from Germany. Urgh. Hello, Germany. Urgh. This should really be coming apart by now. It's cracked completely around the front. I'm just going to bring this down to the floor and hammer it. That's more or less done it. There we go. And this is the kind with the AC connector plug. That's good. We don't break it. Sometimes when you hammer them, the transformer falls apart. But this one seems to have survived. Caps look surprisingly decent actually. 4.7 mic, 400 volt on the primary, 220 16 volt on the secondary. Nice simple device. Has about a 13 phase and 1 transistor. 13 phase and 3 transistor. Standard issue Chinesium switching transistor bipolar. Way too common in these. Wicked Engineer asks, why bother fixing wall warts anyway? Because I like fixing wall warts. It brings me some pleasure. I don't like tossing them, because they can be so easily fixed. And often they are of decent quality. And like a new one is of comparable quality to one you get with a product, it's going to be like 15 euros or so. And, you know, this is worth 15 euros to me. And when it comes to with this switch, that's another bit of value added. I pick this stuff out of the trash anyway, so I'm no money down. It's all for gain. So we should probably want to just replace the secondary side caps. Let's do capacitance check dirtily with a multimeter. On the primary side ones, they're going to be 10 microfarad if they're fine. I don't think I have any suitable replacements. So if they're done for, then I don't think I'm bothering fixing this thing. But give me 10 microfarads. Good enough. Good enough. That's within 20%. So, do I have any suitable replacements for the secondaries? 16 volt 220 in a tiny package. Wait, geez, okay. That's a pretty big package actually, because these are 220-25s. Panasonic FM, which are quite big actually. What's what chat saying? Put it in the freezer for a couple of minutes. That's what I usually do before cracking those things open. That could be a decent idea. Yeah, I might do that sometimes. Good gap under the transformer, someone asks. Very good isolation. Very good. That's the isolation distance there. This is a proper imported device. They're not going to risk, and no major manufacturer is going to risk importing an illegal power supply. No risk. That's why I like these also, because they are usually of much higher quality than aftermarket ones. What would be the best OS for an ancient Dell Latitude with a Pentium M? The trash bin. I actually run Windows 7 on my toilet PC which has a Pentium M. But that thing only has a singular purpose, and that is to read webcomics, so it has very, very low system requirements. Jeffrey Cranwell says, hello, hello from Montreal, Canada. Hello, Canada. Welcome to the stream of repairing cheap disposable electronics. Jeez, you're a bit overexposed, aren't you? I have no idea if you're getting the donging noise. There we go. That looks a bit better. So, negative side in towards the PCB. Pop. 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 Another reason to service these power supplies is that by replacing these capacitors with decent brand ones, I'm now creating a power supply which is far more reliable than one I could purchase for a decent price in the store. To buy, you know, a proper Meanwell or like higher end power supply with comparable reliability to this, it's going to be expensive. That could easily be €20. And now I'm getting it for free plus some time plus a couple of caps. And that's fine by me. Want to replace this Aishi branded 50 volt to 4.7 as well. I think the primary sides are fine. They're Samsung branded. Samsung isn't that bad of a brand, really. I have some respect for Samsung. Sometimes they do fail, but often their like primary side caps work fine. Some of their ultra low ESR low voltage ones have been a bit worse for wear, but generally I don't mind Samsung at all. And you go there. And there. Oh, didn't even note the polarity, but thankfully I did note that the silk screen seems to be correct. Judging from how the capacitor felt, so we'll just bet on that. Nice, what's that, a Nichicon PW going in there. And we'll solder that together. Station 240 says, ruffle at toilet PC. I don't have a smartphone, so I have an ancient laptop instead. Don't judge me. So, this YouTube chat is awful to keep up with. But the cap closer to the wires was a 470, not a 220, if I saw correctly, and you're right. It is a 470. Thanks for telling me. I don't think it quite matters, but let's see if I have a suitable 470 to put in there. If I don't, then two 220s is going to be just fine. But I do. Thank you, Robert Mitchell. I was missing out on that. There's a 470, 16. No point downgrading. I can't believe I actually have a correct size caps for this thing. I am so bad at ordering capacitors because due to where I live, making orders to America is a huge pain in the behind. Importing from anywhere in general is a huge pain. That's also a reason why I do this, because buying these things locally is very expensive. And ordering them from abroad is very labor intensive with regards to customs garbage. So I'm getting decent value out of repairing this one. Plus it's relatively modern, so it's going to be relatively efficient too. Probably better than a cheap no-name one. Come on, get soldered properly. There we go. Platypus Nibbles says, "Oh hi, totally missed your stream. Have I missed something remarkable?" No, you missed the soldering of a single wire and the placing of 3 capacitors and the successful test of a completely out of standard USB hub. So nothing really. Where is your fume extractor, lol? I don't have one here. I don't generally need one. So let's just get some cum on there to keep everything in place. These guys too. Like so. I think this thing is going to be good to go. ZX says, buy them from RS Semiconductors and sell your kidney to pay for them. Well, I believe RS is a UK company and I'm not from the UK, so it's just an abroad import like all the others. It would be a pain. Krata asks, is Åland that much of a hassle that much more of a hassle than Finland in general? Yes. Yes it is, because we are fiscally not the same as EU. So even like if I order something from within the EU, I get charged tax when I order it, like standardized EU tax. Then I still have to import it to the Åland Island and pay tax again. And then I have to contact the seller and have the original tax refunded, unless I can manage to get in touch with the seller and convince them to not charge tax to begin with, which never works because they think I'm trying to scam them. So ordering things is a pain. Generally I just you give up and deal with paying with about 50% VAT, because it's just so much of a bother. Like that actually happened with my solar panels. I paid 50% VAT on my solar panels, so they became incredibly uneconomical. ZX asks, what's the spec of that PSU? It's 9 volts, 600 milliamps. Nothing spectacular. But a small power supply means that the switch is efficient, and that's good. Oh, yeah, I just picked my nose with that on my finger. Oh god, this stuff smells awful. I have a nose full of thermal compound. Yuck. That was a mistake. Wicked Engineer says, geez, no other address to send stuff to? No, and you still have to, unless I want to actually travel to fetch it myself, it still has to go through customs, because it has to go through customs even if it's from mainland Finland. Like the Åland Islands is completely separate tax-wise, which is just making importing everything a pain. To make it even better, there used to be a limit that if the value of the goods was under 25 euros, you wouldn't have to pay any import duties on it. Well, they've removed that, so you now have to pay import duties on everything, regardless of the value. So I now have to spend about 10 minutes going through the import process on the PC, which requires identifying with like government issued ID or bank codes, like the stuff you use to log onto your banking system to do money things. I have to use that, log into the government site, very clearly define exactly what kind of goods it is, and that is incredibly confusing. There are just huge amounts of categories, and it's a bureaucratic nightmare. and then I have to pay like €1 of tax, or even less than €1 of tax to get my cheap thing from China. It's retarded. Huh. That looks like an accident. Jeez, what was happened there? So yeah, don't move to the Åland Islands if you want to import things. It's not worth it. It is a major pain. And once you're done with the importing process, of course, you still need to either contact the seller, get your tax refunded, or just deal with just having paid 50% VAT. Oscar Stals asks, then why not move? Because I like the place in general. Like, the crime rates on the Åland Islands is basically probably the lowest in Europe. Like, we don't have criminality. Because it's an island, you cannot steal something and sell it on the market locally. You cannot easily get it off of the island, because you'll get caught on the ferries. So it's incredibly safe. It's incredibly small community. It's a very, very pleasant place to live. Like I leave my keys in the car all the time, just because the risk of someone actually stealing it is minimal. Stuff like that, you can do that. Everyone does it. That's the way it works. And right now I'm just resoldering the transformer because beating it with a hammer takes its toll on the solder joints. There we go. Let's do the mains caps as well, just in case. I have a big transistor as well. ZX asks, a cable tie to hold it together. No, that doesn't work. That makes it not fit into outlets, so we're going to be using tape. Ah, crap. That's a solder bulb shorting everything together. Oh no, I think those pins are supposed to be shorted together. I don't think that's actually the transistor, I'm sorry. I know. That's the transistor over there. I'm just soldering random solder joints. Oh well, doesn't hurt. I'm using high quality solder than whatever the wave soldering machine uses. There we go. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That is most fine. Oscar Stahl says, check the diodes. I had at least 3 of them with a dead diode. This one has no issues. It was just making some noise. So I'm replacing the caps as a bit of a precaution. I don't think there was anything actually wrong with this thing. I just want to make it a bit more reliable. Because I want to use this thing myself. Because like the switch seems to draw very little power, and I like that. My current network switch in the office draws a fair amount of power since it's absolutely ancient. So I'm probably going to replace it with this one, if it works properly. There we go. Let's just tape that up, and we will be done with it. If I can find my tape. Where is that? No, I have misplaced the tape I tend to use for these kinds of things. Where on earth have I put that? Oh, there we go. It was exactly where it's supposed to be. Wicked Engineer says, plastic weld it again. No, that's too much work and it doesn't usually hold well enough. My experience is this works far better. I mean, you obviously can't, you know, sell this or give it to someone who doesn't understand that the tape is what's preventing them from getting 230 volt mains into their fingers. But for personal use as a nerdy kind of person, it's fine. Now, this is a bit annoying because there's no way to get tape actually on there. That's annoying. That is annoying. What are we to do about that? I say nothing. This is fine. $9 volts, 600 milliamps. Whoop whoop, the plus. There we go. Fixed. Let's check out the actual Ethernet switch as well. So this probably snaps apart, I would wager. Clamshell of some sort. I want a knife. Where is my knife? My knife is exactly where it's supposed to be, which is good. Let's see if we can get inside this. Come on. Come on. We can do this. God. Violence solves things. This is stubborn. Surprisingly stubborn. That's good noise. Come on. Come on, baby. Yes. Come on. Make more noises. This thing is a bit of a pain. How is it actually held together? Seems to be snaps in the corners, so perhaps we can just rip it from here. Excellent. Well, that is incredibly simple. 2 chips and 1 capacitor. 1 crappy Chinese capacitor which we will swap out, and then this thing is going to be fine. A JWK. That's garbage. I like this thing otherwise. I really like this. All ceramic caps aside from the 1 big electrolytic. Zoom. Single chip. It's an RTL 8367N. Gonna be the most basic Ethernet switch you can find. TLSG 1005D version 6. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. I like this. Very simple. So we'll find another 16470. I have a lot of these 16470s for some reason. That's good. One of the USB hubs forfeit is on your hand, okay. Thank you, Robert. That made my day better. It's not the first time that's happened. There we go. That's better. You guys are lifesavers. I've actually gone to bed with some sticky foot on my hand and noticed it just the next morning. We've got negative facing the edge of the board. There we go. Silk screen is correct, which is positive. There are cases where the silk screen is wrong, then you forget which way you put the capacitor was mounted on the board. Then you just follow the silk screen, put the cap in the wrong way around, and it lets the smoke out when you test it. And then you feel rather stupid. And after that you check the polarity every single time. I am Cornholio. I need TP for my network. That is excellent. That is excellent. There are going to be people watching this who do not understand that reference because they're too young to think. That the latest generation might not know of Cornholio. The MTV generation kind of has lost its meaning by now, since MTV is such garbage. MTV back in the day had some of the best animated shows ever produced. Just AM Flux, Beavis and Butthead, Daria. They're pornographic. Absolutely some of the best animated shows. Hands down. What was the name of that, cartoon screening program they had? They had this program which is spawned AM Flux, which is something anyone who likes animation should check out because it's glorious. But that whole project launched like a whole bunch of insanely good outsider cartoons. And it's just... I miss old MTV. Old MTV was excellent. There's a if I could only remember what that cartoon pilot series was called, because there's a YouTube channel, probably MTV Official, which has all of the cartoons on it. All of the single episode pilots, and they are all so good. They are so good. So fringe, absolutely lovely cartoons. Everyone who produced them was on at least 5 drugs at all the time. And they are just pure quality. So then we'll put this back together. And this goes which way around? That way around. You can easily see the main, so if you want to take one of these apart, by the way. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Easy. But easier to reassemble. I think this is going to be good. Let's bring in the pink power lead. And I had this since before it was cool to have pink extension leads, by the way. That's the one thing I'm not copying. Let's turn the power on. And we've got a green LED. Let's just ram a random Ethernet cord in this, see if it does anything. There's one. I've got an LED there. And I think, I'm not sure if there's going to be any traffic on this, but we'll just shove this in. We've got a DHCP server coming through there. Oh, they're talking. There's talking going on. Try that port. Seems to be working. Try that port. Seems to be working. And the final one. Yeah, I think this is good. And notably, this power brick is no longer squealing. Like, if I... This was squealing significantly while it was loaded with these caps. So we have solved an issue. That's excellent. That is most excellent. Wicked Engineer asks, where does your accent originate from? The internet. I'm not British, nor Australian. I just pick bits and pieces from wherever I find suitable. But I'm trying to do the British thing. What was the chat saying? Show us toilet PC. I'm not fetching that because it's upstairs. When I was young, I only had Top of a Pops. I have no idea what that is. Pink is the colour of joy. Indeed it is. Hang on. Well, I don't have my current toilet PC easily accessible. I might actually have my old toilet PC somewhere around here. Maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, you're going to be witnessing something magnificent. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. This is the original toilet PC. Is it not a work of art? This is like an ancient HP laptop which didn't come with a wireless antenna of a monitor. So I added one by just drilling a hole in the hatch and taping it to the front. And the hinges are broken, so it's fixed with packing tape. And if we open it up, like the hinges are completely... Is that not excellent? I think this thing should actually work. I don't think I've stolen any pieces out of it. Let's try and pair it up, just for the sake of it. Business nostalgia. Doing over the multi-plug. And try and find my laptop power lead, which has disappeared. Well, that's excellent. Let's try and find another laptop power lead. There we go. Ooh. Let's see if the original toilet PC still lives. That's going to be probably a fat plug. No, I think that's a tight, thin plug. 2mm. No, 2.5mm. 2.5mm. No? Oh, there's some weird size. It's not that. What on earth is going to fit into this? Is it this one? Oh, there we go. I think that works. No. This thing should work. I don't think it's died, but that's... yeah, that is the wrong power plug. Now this is one of those ancient, weird, compact plugs, which is like kind of smaller than a standard DC jack. I don't think I have one on this. No. Maybe if we just press that down. Yeah, power off, we'll just keep that pressed down. Oh, we've got the hard drive. Oh, the monitor cable's broken. Yeah, the monitor's dead. It is actually booting though. It is booting. But that is not doing good. How do you hear that? We got the XP start sound. Come on. I don't think we're going to be getting any image out of this. But then again, we do. Then again, I'm not sure you want to see what kinds of images I have on this thing. So it's probably for the best you don't. How the hell must be? The battery's going to be dead, so let's just unplug that and kill it. Oh! The battery's alive. The battery's alive! Oh. This thing is full of surprises. Let's kill it anyway. That's... The indicator's dead. But oh, you can't actually remove the battery because it's taped in. So there we go. That's the original toilet PC. Shame I can't actually show you the vistas. I have no idea what I've actually got on it. It's like a web browser full of various webcomics of varying quality. But I think that's going to be about it for this stream. 93 people got to see the revival of the Toilet PC Mark I. That thing once had an uptime of 863 days. I'm not joking, I've actually got some proof to show that. I think I can find it somewhere. Let's see. I'll just do it ugly, bring it up on my laptop. If this thing's set up properly, I think it's in there, and uptime. Where, yeah, here are all. Like, I took a shit ton of screenshots of this. So let's see if we can actually get that on camera. God, that's not the easiest thing. This is a screenshot of the system info command on Windows XP. And if we have a good look at there, you can see that's Swedish for time since system boot. 842 days, 16 hours and 3 minutes. That's for how long my Mark I toilet PC was powered without a single reboot. I'm so glad I captured that. Oh well, what's the chat got to say? Monitor LVD cable broke. Yes, it did, probably. I mean, not surprising given that the monitor is not even attached to the computer yet. Anymore. Now that's a quality repair. I always thought you'd make a great Bond villain. No, I'm too nice. Oh, that laptop has suffered the same fate as a lot of our Dell E5530s. I am not at all surprised. Oh god, now the chat just jumped down. Repair it one day? No. Dagger Timers and Minuters sounds weird. Indeed. What browser were you using on that old laptop? Time correct Firefox. Anyway, we've been going long enough. I'm going to end this stream, and I'll have to thank a lot of you for watching, and in particular I'll have to thank 15 Fake Account for the €2 he donated. So you guys take care, and I'm gonna see you at some point in the future.